welcome to day 37 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 37 already, but that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join. You can jump in today and just do the final 4 days of the challenge with me. Why not? Of course, you do not have to join the challenge. If you just want to do this workout with me, fantastic. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to hear a little bit about what the challenge is and how you can participate, I will begin by telling you that there is a playlist for this challenge. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of the video as well. So click on the link and save the playlist. Even if you're not sure whether or not you want to commit to doing the challenge at this point, just save the playlist so that when and if you decide you want to do the challenge, you have all of the workouts readily available to you. And then just begin by watching that day 1 video. The video that I shared on day 1 of the challenge is going to explain everything you need to know about what the challenge is exactly and how it works, why we're doing it, how you can participate, and where to begin. You're also going to see the proper form for how to do your squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, and I provided tons of beginner modifications that I promise you can absolutely do. I'm going out of my way this year to make sure that the challenge is accessible to super duper ultra day 1 beginners. So if you are a beginner, you're in the right place, okay? Save the playlist, watch that day 1 video, and then once you decide you want to join the challenge, if you want to start the challenge on day 1, just make sure that you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. As long as you start with day 1 on a Wednesday, then everything will fall into place. All you have to do is follow along with the playlist. I have made it super easy to follow along. But of course, if you have any questions about the challenge and how it works, or if you need help with beginner modifications, I'm always here to help, okay? I'm here doing the challenge right along with you, but I'm not just working out with you every single day. I am also here to answer questions and provide guidance. I am here to encourage you and support you every step of the way, and I'm here to help motivate you to keep going and stick with the challenge. All right, now, if you are a beginner, I designed this as a 40-day challenge. So if you want to start on day 1 and do all 40 days of the challenge, that's great. But if that seems too daunting for you, please don't let that stop you from participating in the challenge, because if you make the decision to participate and you make the commitment, then you're the one doing it, so it becomes your challenge. You do it in any way that works for you. I do have a few people who are doing the challenge with me, but they're just doing fewer reps. So instead of doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day, they're doing 30 reps of everything, or 20, or 15. So it's really, really easy to customize this challenge and make it your own. So if you can't commit to doing all 160 reps every single day, maybe you can commit to doing 80 reps a day. That would be just 20 reps of squats, 20 lunges, 20 reps of an ab exercise, and 20 push-ups every day. So that could be your challenge, okay? Maybe you could commit to doing 30 reps a day, or 20, okay? Maybe if you can't commit to doing all 40 days of the challenge, you can commit to doing the first 20 days, or the final 20 days. All right, if you can't commit to working out with me 6 days a week, maybe you can just do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You could do 3 days a week, or 2 days a week, or 1 day a week. All right, whatever you can realistically manage is fine. So be realistic about your goals. Make sure that when you set your goals and you make the commitment to participate, that it is something that you are capable of achieving with your current time constraints and your current level of fitness. Because if you set your goal too high and it's something that you're just not capable of achieving right now, then that's a recipe for failure. And if you fail to meet your goal, then you're going to become discouraged and feel like you failed at the challenge, and you're going to drop out of the challenge. That serves no purpose, okay? So watch the day 1 video. Once you understand what the challenge is and how to participate in your way, then be realistic with yourself about to what degree you are capable of participating, and then commit commit to participating to that degree, okay? So however many reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups you want to do every day, or however many days you want to do it, make that commitment. And then once you make the commitment, I promise, following through is the easy part. And remember that I am here to help, okay? So at any point, if you have questions or if you need help, please reach out to me. If you are not a beginner, then the workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge are probably not going to challenge you very much. So you might want to follow along with last year's playlist. I will link last year's playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of this video as well. So last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge. It was the exact same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day, except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts we were doing last year were much more intense. They were way more advanced, a lot more difficult. They were generally much longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps. We were also doing more challenging variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. With most of the workouts, we were also adding weight to some or all of the exercises, and I was generally incorporating about 20 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio right into the workouts last year as well, almost all of them. So if that sounds something like more your speed, then absolutely you can check out last year's playlist. Make sure to save it, but save this year's playlist as well. Even if you're really strong and you're in great shape and you're capable of doing the more challenging workouts that we did last year, the workouts we're doing this year, these are still great workouts. They're just much shorter and much kind of simpler, but that is a great option to have, because if you are in really good shape, you're going to be able to complete almost all of the workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge in under 10 minutes. So on days where you're really strapped for time, like I am today, the rest of the week is gonna be crazy busy for me. So doing my best to get through this video, this intro as quickly as I can. And this week I'm gonna try not to be too rushed, but this is a really busy week for me. So if you're busy and you just have zero time to get your reps done, but you still want to meet your requirement to participate in the challenge, choose a workout from this year's playlist, all right? If you're in really good shape, you can probably get most of these workouts done in no time, like under 10 minutes, okay? So that is a great option to have on days when you're super busy. Also, this year for the challenge, because I am specifically focusing on beginners, I'm assuming that most beginners do not have access to fitness equipment. So I've been really avoiding using any fitness equipment at all. We're really focusing mostly on bodyweight exercises for the challenge this year. So if you are traveling, if you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb and you don't have any access to fitness equipment, then again, these workouts that we're doing this year are a great option to have. Or maybe you just want to take your workout to the park today, or the beach, or the hiking trail, and you don't want to be lugging along dumbbells or a kettlebell or a big heavy sandbag or medicine ball or something like that. So you can just do one of these short bodyweight workouts for today and get your reps done that way. Or you can use one of these short bodyweight workouts as a warm-up for something more intense. So if you want to take your workout to the hiking trail today, for example, because you want to go on a long hike today, or you want to go for a long bike ride or a long run or something, then one of these short little bodyweight workouts that we're doing this year could make a great warm-up for something like that. So if you're more advanced, definitely save both playlists, and you can kind of just bounce back and forth between the playlists. As long as you're getting your reps done every day, it doesn't matter how you do them. So I am sharing a new workout every day, and if you look at the playlist, the workouts are numbered, days 1 through 40. So you can start with day 1 and go in order. That's how I designed the challenge, and that's great if you want to do that, but you don't have to. Remember, it's your challenge. You do it in whatever way works for you. The only requirement is just that you're getting your reps done. So it doesn't matter which playlist you're working off of. It doesn't matter if you go back and forth and choose from a different playlist every day. It doesn't matter if you're working within one playlist, which workout you choose every day. You don't have to go in order. It doesn't even matter if you choose a workout of mine. It can be any workout that just so happens to contain at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups. So you can write your own workout if you want, or you don't really even have to do a structured workout at all. So again, if you don't have time to do a structured workout, or if you're a beginner and it's just still too difficult for you to get all of your reps done at the same time, then you can break up your reps randomly throughout the course of your day. That's absolutely fine. You can get up first thing in the morning and do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. Any variations of those 4 exercises you want to do is fine. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the day. So you could do it again after lunch, you could do it again after you get home from work, once more before bed. There's your 160 reps. Okay, if you do want to do a structured workout, you want to work out with me today, you want to work out along with the video, but there's just one exercise that isn't going to work for you. So let's say you want to do this workout with me today, you want to work out with the video, but you can't do the ab exercise I'm doing. Just swap it out with any other ab exercise. Okay, and that applies to any given day of the challenge, any one of these videos. If ever there is a variation of a specific exercise that I'm doing in the video that doesn't work for you, just substitute with any other variation of that exercise that does work for you, okay? So as long as you're getting reps done, it doesn't matter which variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups you do. It doesn't matter how you get them done or where or when you get them done, as long as you get them done. So you're doing it, it's your challenge, do it your way. Remember that I'm always here to help, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. So let's go ahead and get into what we're doing for today's workout. Before we do, let me just apologize for the noise. This is nowhere near as bad as it was the other day, but it's still gonna be a little annoying. I'm still gonna have to shout over it. My neighbor, 3 doors down, it looks like they're having their roof repaired or replaced. That's gonna be me soon enough. So in January, when all the fires, if you're not aware, it wasn't just the fires. What made the fires so devastating was how windy it was. We were getting like hurricane force winds, and we didn't have any fire damage here in my little neighborhood, but a lot of us had roof damage, and I sustained a lot of damage to my roof. And I didn't think it was that bad, so I wasn't really in a hurry to get it fixed, and I kind of forgot about it. And then the rain started, and we had like 2 weeks straight of rain. And by the end of that, I started getting, my roof started leaking. So yeah, I guess I dropped the ball on that one. But within the next, I don't know, several days or a week or 2 or something like that, there's gonna be somebody here banging and making noise working on my roof. So what are you gonna do? But anyway, that's what all the noise is about. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. So I will try to talk over it. And during the workout, I'm just gonna try to tune it out. And I suggest that you do the same. So yeah, that's just life in suburbia. So that's what we're working with today. All right, so here's what we're doing for today's workout. You can see I have one of my dining room chairs here. All you're going to need for this workout is a chair. Now you may also need an exercise mat or a yoga mat. That is strongly recommended. If you are planning on sticking with these workouts, and I hope that you are, and you have no exercise equipment whatsoever, not even a mat, I'm going to very strongly recommend that your first purchase, your first investment in your home fitness journey is some sort of exercise mat. Okay, a yoga mat is fine. One of those thicker exercise mats is great. When I'm out here, I always just use my jump rope mat. It's a little bit smaller, but it's nice and thick, and this is usually sufficient for what I'm doing out here. But some kind of exercise mat is very strongly recommended. It's very handy when we're doing our ab exercises, because normally we're down on the floor or the ground for our ab exercises. It's always very convenient if you're doing knee push-ups, because you're going to be much more comfortable with something soft beneath your knees, and it's very convenient for your stretching. So if you're going to be doing home workouts, it's very important that you're stretching every day as well. Even if you're not working out, you really should be stretching every day. And obviously it's great to have for that. And it's also very strongly recommended for days when you're using a chair or a bar stool or some other sort of elevated surface for support. because you want to make sure that whatever you're using for support cannot slide from underneath you. So we're going to be placing the chair on top of our exercise mat today. So the very, very first thing I think you should do is invest in some sort of exercise mat. Like, you should do it today. You should pause the video, go online and order yourself a yoga mat or an exercise mat, okay? Or run to the drugstore and pick one up, or a sporting goods store. The number 2 item that I think you should invest in is fitness gloves. I'm wearing my fitness gloves today because I'm going to be needing them, especially if you work out outside, if you work out on concrete like I do. I also use these in my living room because I have wood floors. And when I'm doing push-ups or something on my wood floor, my hands tend to get sweaty during the workout, and it's easy for my hands to slide along the floor. The gloves prevent that from happening. And when I'm working out back here on my patio, this is concrete, so my hands don't slide, but it's not very comfortable doing push-ups with my hands on this concrete, so the gloves make it more comfortable. So that would be my number 2 thing that I recommend you investing in, is a pair of fitness gloves, okay? You don't necessarily need either of those things to begin doing home workouts, but if it's something you're going to stick with, those are inexpensive items and you're going to get a lot of use out of them. It's going to make it a lot easier. It's going to make the workouts a lot more accessible for you, okay? So that's all I'm using today, and that's all you're going to need. I have my fitness gloves, my mat, and my chair. Okay, now this is one of my dining room chairs, and I have these little chair cushions on my chair. You might also need something like this. We'll get to that, all right? But if you have chair cushions, like on seat cushions like on your dining room chairs or on your patio furniture, or maybe if you have like a throw pillow, you might need something like that as well. But that's it, okay? So let's go through the exercises, starting with squats, because we're going to be starting with squats today. So first, I'll just go over your proper form for just a basic air squat. I'll try to do it quickly today because you guys, we have so many services this week. I'm so busy this week. I'm really overwhelmed. Okay, so for your squats, the first thing you want to do is think about tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets so that your shoulders are back and down and your chest is lifted nice and high. Pay attention to this feeling of having your chest lifted because you want to maintain that as you're squatting. All right, so then the next thing I want you to do is really tighten up your abs like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for that impact. So make sure your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. And then before you think about squatting, I don't want you to think of your squat as kind of going straight down, because if you do that, your knees are going to tend to end up out over your toes. And that's not the movement. It's also a really good way to hurt your knees. My knees don't even like when I demonstrate that for you, okay? So let's not do that. Instead, before you think about squatting, what I want you to do is think about hinging at the hips. So really push your booty back. Imagine that you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, all right? And at the same time, remember that you're maintaining that feeling of having your chest lifted. So as you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, you're also thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest so that your spine is nice and elongated and your back is flat. So those are the 2 things that you want to remember for your squats and your lunges. Flat back, weight in the heels. All right, so instead of squatting straight down where my knees are tracking over my toes, I'm gonna hinge at the hips, push that booty back, and elongate my spine so that my back is flat. And now do you see how my knees are no longer out over my toes? All of my weight is in my heels, and I can actually pick up my toes. All right, and it's from this position that you can go ahead and sink down into your squat, okay? And then you're just going to press the ground away from you to stand. Press your heels into the ground. Actively press your heels into the ground as though you were really trying to push the ground away from you so that you activate all of the muscles from your feet through your legs, your quads especially, your glutes, and of course, your abs are already nice and strong and tight and engaged. All right, but that's just a basic air squat. So your goal is to try to see if you can at least get your thighs so that they're parallel to the ground. but you might not be there yet, okay? That's a goal that you may not be able to meet today, or you may not be able to meet it by the end of the challenge or by the end of the summer, but it's what you're working towards. Your objective is to keep your back flat and keep the weight in your heels, okay? So if you can only come down this deep into the squat without rounding your back, then this is your squat. It's fine to shorten up your range of motion. You should always be working to your own level. I don't want you pushing your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, okay? So eventually, this is what you're working towards, is to try to squat solo that your thighs are parallel to the ground. But make sure you're minding your form. Don't round your back. So back flat, weight in the heels, work to your own level, okay? So squat as low as you can while minding your form, and then once you're as low as you're gonna get, just press your heels into the ground. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, abs are tight, push the booty back, like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, keeping your chest lifted, like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Spine is elongated, abs are super strong and tight and engaged. Sink down into the squat, keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heels the entire time. Then press your heels into the ground to straighten your legs and stand. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, abs tight, booty goes back, chest stays lifted high, back flat, weight in the heels as you squat, and then press the heels into the ground to stand. All right, so that's a basic air squat, and if you just want to stick with that, that's fine. Remember, any squat variation you want to do is fine. And if you are an absolute beginner and you need to hold on to something for support, you can always grab your chair or some other sort of elevated surface. Maybe a bar stool or the arm of your couch or an end table, your dining room table, your kitchen counter, all right? Any number of elevated surfaces will work. A plyo box would be great if you have one, maybe a park bench, okay? This is day 37, so this is probably the 37th time that you're gonna hear me give this chair speech. But I have to do it every day, because if this is the first video you're seeing, you haven't heard the chair speech, and the chair speech is important, okay? So if you are going to be using something like this chair to support you, then it is very important that you make sure that your chair or whatever other elevated surface you are using is strong enough to support your entire body weight. Even if you're just going to be lightly holding on to it with your fingertips to help you balance, I still want you to make sure that whatever you're using is strong enough to support your entire body weight, because if you're using this to balance, well, if you lose your balance and you end up needing to put more weight on the chair than you were planning on, then you need to make sure that it is strong enough that it can hold your entire body weight, okay? You also need to make sure that your chair or bar stool or whatever you're using for your elevated surface is sturdy, meaning that it's a good quality chair or bar stool or whatever. It's well made, it's in decent condition. It's nothing that's going to collapse or break or fold up on you when you put weight on it. So don't use a folding chair or a stool that collapses, okay? Use something that's not going to collapse or fold up or break when you put weight on it. And you want to make sure that your chair is stable, meaning that it cannot slide from underneath you. So you can see how I put my chair on top of my mat. This is so the chair stays put when I put weight on it and it won't slide from underneath me. When I'm working out in my living room, this chair is wood, my living room floor is wood. So if I have the chair on my living room floor, it's really easy for the chair to kind of slide along the floor. So I always place my chair on a yoga mat when I'm working out in my living room with the dining room chair so that it stays put, okay? So your elevated surface needs to be strong enough to support your entire body weight. It needs to be sturdy enough so that it will not collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and it needs to be stable so that it cannot slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. So please use your common sense, be smart and be safe. I don't want anyone getting hurt, okay? So if you need to hold onto a chair for support, you can have a chair in front of you and just use the chair as much as you need, but as little as you can. So if you just need to use the chair to steady yourself as you sink down into that squat, you can just lightly place your fingertips on the chair. If you need help getting up and you need to leverage your weight a little bit and use your upper body to help you up, That's fine. Again, the chair is there to assist you, so use it as much as you need, but challenge yourself to use it as little as possible. The point is to strengthen your legs and your core so that eventually you're able to do an unassisted air squat. So you want to make sure that you're making your quads do as much of the work as possible. All right, so if you need to kind of leverage your weight a little bit and lean into the chair and kind of use your arms and your upper body to help you up, that's fine. But work towards using your upper body less and making your quads do more of the work, okay? So that eventually you can do the squat unassisted. You can also squat into the chair or onto the chair. So you can stand in front of your chair like this and then squat so that your booty ends up and you end up sitting in the chair. That's fine. Just make sure that if you opt for this beginner variation, that you're not just sitting in you're not just plopping down in the chair, okay? Chair plops are not an exercise and they're not part of this challenge. So we are squatting. Make sure it's an actual squat. So again, roll your shoulders back and down like you're trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Your chest is lifted nice and high, your abs are tight. You're gonna push your booty back, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heels, and you're going to control this movement. See, I'm not just falling into the chair. Do you see how that movement is 100% under control as I'm lowering my booty into the chair with control? You don't have to go that slowly. Obviously, I'm just showing you that's how much under control the movement needs to be. Okay, and then once your booty hits the chair, yeah, you can just sit into the chair. And then when you're ready to get up, press your heels into the ground, press the ground away from you, activate all of those muscles from your feet, through your legs, your quads, especially your glutes and your core, to stand. And again, if you need to hold on to something for support, you can have this set up right in front of the arm of your couch, let's say, or a park bench, or a plyo box, or just another strong, sturdy, stable chair. Any strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface will work. But if you need to hold on to something to kind of steady yourself or maintain your balance as you're sinking down into the squat, that's fine. And if you need to leverage your weight a little bit and kind of lean into your elevated surface and use your upper body to help you just a little bit to stand, that's fine, okay? But if you're at this level and you are using the chair to assist you for your squats in this way, I don't want you to worry about adding anything. I want you to just focus on your squats, on your chair squats, so that eventually you can build up enough strength to be able to do the squat without the chair. And then once you're able to do an unassisted air squat, then you can start adding things to it, okay? But if you're at this level, then just be here, okay? So have something else in front of you, another strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface in front of you if you need to hold on to something for support. If not, just sink into the chair, push the booty back, keep the back flat, weight in the heels, squat into the chair, press the ground away to stand. So for my squat variation today, I'm just using my chair as a target. So I'm just going to stand behind my chair like this. I'm going to do my squat, and then I'm going to shift my weight into one foot. I'm going to pick up the other foot, and I'm going to kick this leg first across my body. So I'm kicking towards this wall on the other side, and then I'm going to kick my leg up and over the chair and then place my foot back down. All right, so the squat itself that I'm doing for my squat variation today is just a basic air squat. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, abs are tight, booty goes back. Keep the back flat, weight in the heels, sink into the squat, press the heels into the ground to stand. All right, then I'm going to transfer my weight into one leg, pick up the other foot, kick it across my body towards the opposite wall, then up and over the chair, place the foot back down, and return to my starting position. All right, so super simple squat variation. Just remember, you can do any squat variation you want. I think I'm gonna stay on the same leg the whole time. So I think with each rep, I'm going to be kicking the same leg over the chair. All right, so it's going to look like this. This is my squat variation today. Squat, kick over the chair, right into the next squat. Squat, up and over. Squat, lift the leg up and over. All right, so that is my squat variation today. please remember that you can do any squat variation you want. If you are worried about your ability to, let's say you want to try this squat variation, but you're worried about your ability to get your leg up this high and actually clear your target, then you don't need to use the chair. You could use a lower target if you want, like maybe a small plyo box or a short ottoman or stool, maybe even just a milk crate or some cinder blocks, anything that's low to the ground so that you can do your squat and then do your kick over, but instead of having to worry about kicking up really high, you can just kick over something that's lower to the ground, so shorten up your range of motion. And you don't have to have a physical obstacle in front of you, you can just imagine one. So you can just as easily do your squat and then do the kick, maybe put your hand out for a target and kick your hand, or just imagine there's a chair there and just do the same motion, but over an imaginary target, okay? Whatever's gonna work for you. I like to have an actual target in front of me when I do this exercise, so that I make sure that with each rep, I have to get my leg up and over my target. Because as I fatigue, it's really easy to kind of get lazy and not really get that leg up. So if I have an actual physical object here that I have to clear, I find that helpful. But keep in mind that as you fatigue, it is more difficult to get your leg up and over. So if you're worried about banging your leg into something, either use a shorter obstacle or don't use a physical obstacle at all. Just use an imaginary obstacle that you're kicking over, okay? Make the decision that's best for you. But that's my squat variation today. So next, let's move on to lunges and abs. I'm gonna cover both at the same time because I'm combining my, what did I just say, lunges and push-ups. We'll do abs last, but I'm going to be combining my lunges and push-ups today. So for this exercise, I'm going to have my chair right here in the center of my mat, okay? So I have this chair for my dining room that is strong enough to support my entire weight. It's sturdy, it's well made, it won't collapse or break when I put weight on it, and I'm placing it on top of my mat so that it can't slide from underneath me. All right, and I'm going to be using this chair for my lunge variation. This lunge variation is called Bulgarian split squats, and we've done this exercise once before, at least once before this year during the challenge. I remember going over it at least once. So if you missed that day, then maybe you haven't seen these yet, but if you've been following along every day, you might remember this exercise. I know we did it at least once. And I know it's called a squat, Bulgarian split squats, but really it's a lunge. Now, using the chair the way I'm using it, this is kind of advanced, so I'm just going to show you very quickly what I'm doing first, and then I'll explain, I'll demonstrate and explain some beginner modifications if this is too difficult for you. But for my Bulgarian split squats, I'm going to kind of start facing this wall. And this exercise, I'm combining my lunges and push-ups, and we're gonna be kind of traveling like this, back and forth, okay? So I'm going to start facing towards this wall, and I'm going to have one foot up on the chair. Now, how I remember which foot is up on the chair and which leg is forward so that I make sure I end up even is this. I'm always going to have the inside foot, the foot that's closest to the chair, up on the chair, okay? So not this way, but this way. So it's my inside foot that's up on the chair, okay? So if I'm standing here, this foot is closer to the chair, this foot is gonna go on the chair, all right? That's how I remember which side I'm on. And then from here, I'm just going to bend both knees and sink down into my Bulgarian split squat, but really it's a lunge, okay? It's just a leg elevated lunge. So we'll get to that. I'm going to do 5 reps of leg elevated lunges, let's call them, since we're counting it as our lunge variation, okay? So I'm going to lunge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Pretend I just did 5 of those. And then what I'm going to do is put my hands down on the ground and I'm going to put both feet up on the chair so that I'm in a plank position with my feet elevated. My hands are underneath my shoulders, okay? And then I'm going to do my push-ups from this position. So it's an incline push-up, which is a really advanced push-up variation. You may still be able to do it if you're a beginner. So not all beginners are automatically at the same level. Let me show you what it looks like real quick, and then we'll talk about what to do if this is too difficult for you, okay? So I'm gonna do my 5 split squats, then I'm gonna come down, and I'm gonna do my incline push-up. Then I'm gonna step my hands together and apart again. All right, so that's 1 rep. I'm gonna do 5 of those. So I'm gonna do another push-up, and then I'm gonna take another step in the same direction, okay? So I'm traveling like this. So I'm gonna do 5 reps of push-ups and end up on the other side of my chair like this, okay? Then I'm going to stand and I'm going to repeat that, traveling back the other way. So now this foot is closest to the chair. So I'm going to pick up this foot, place it on my chair, so I make sure I end up even on both sides. I'm going to do another 5 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Then I'm going to put my hands down, both feet up on the chair, and I'm going to do a push-up, walk, push-up, walk. 3, 4, and 5, okay? So by that point, I will have completed a total of 10 lunges and 10 push-ups, okay? So it's 5 lunges and then 5 push-ups to travel from here to here. Then stand, 5 more lunges, and then another 5 push-ups to travel from here to here. Make sense? All right, so that is what I'm doing. Now, if you do want to do the exercise that way, keep in mind that the higher your elevated surface, the more difficult these exercises will be. The lower your elevated surface, the easier these exercises will be. So if you have something that's more this height, like maybe, again, a couple of cinder blocks, or maybe like a small milk crate or an aerobic step. Usually when I do this workout, I do it on my aerobic step, which is much lower than this chair. But I didn't want to use the aerobic step today because, again, I'm assuming that if you're an absolute beginner, you do not have an aerobic step. If you do have one, absolutely grab it. You can use it today and it'll make this a lot easier. But I am assuming that everyone has a chair or an ottoman or a bar stool or something like that they can use. So just keep in mind that if a chair is too high for you, you can look for something lower to the ground, like an aerobic step or a couple of cinder blocks. And then you can do the same exercise, but instead of having your foot all the way up here, and instead of your incline being so steep for your push-ups, you can have your foot much lower down, say down here. And you can have your feet a lot lower down for your push-ups, okay? So that's another option. Of course, you do not have to elevate your feet at all. You can do the exact same exercise without the chair. So if you want to do that exercise, because it's a cool exercise, but it's too difficult to elevate your foot, you can do the exact same thing without your feet being elevated. And now you're gonna see why, to me, this is a lunge. This is a leg elevated lunge. Because if you take away that elevated surface and do the same exercise, you're here, okay? And you're just bending both of your knees and coming down into a lunge, right? So all we did is instead of having our foot elevated, we put our both feet on the ground and we're just gonna lunge, okay? So it's gonna be a static lunge. That's your lunge variation if you're not elevating the foot. So for your lunges, again, shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. You're going to keep your back flat. You're going to keep the weight in your heels. Remember, back flat, weight in the heels for squats and lunges. You're going to start standing with your feet about hip width apart. Whatever feels comfortable for you. You just want to stand in kind of like a neutral position. So you don't want your feet out wide. You don't want them wider than your shoulders, but you also don't want them together. So just about hip width apart. And then you're just going to step one foot back. And then you're going to bend both of your knees and sink down into your lunge. And that's it. You're just gonna stay here and pulse. All right, so bend the knees, come down into your lunge, and then pulse. 1, 2, 3, like that, okay? So you're bending the knees for the lunge and then pressing the ground away. Just straighten your knees, come back to stand, return to your starting position. And that's it. That's going to be your lunge variation today if you don't want to elevate your foot. It's really the same exact exercise, just without your foot elevated. So just make sure as you sink down into your lunge that the movement is under control, especially if you are going to tap this back knee to the ground. You don't have to tap the back knee to the ground, but I always do. So if your range of motion allows you to do that and you want to do it, great. Just make sure the movement is under control so you don't bang your knee into the ground. The movement should be under control regardless, but just don't want you getting hurt. It really hurts to bang your knee into the ground. So make sure you're minding your form. Make sure you're doing your best to maintain your spatial awareness as you get fatigued, and make sure the movement's under control so that if you do tap that back knee to the ground, you don't hurt yourself. All right? If you cannot reach the ground with your back knee, that's fine. Be where you are. So if your lunge is here, great. You do not have to tap your back knee to the ground. Remember as a beginner that you can always shorten up your range of motion. So for the lunge, that means two things. The first thing we're doing is taking a step back. So if you can't take a really giant step back, shorten up your range of motion. You can just step here. And then the second way that applies to the lunge is if you can't lunge all the way so that your back knee touches the ground, then you can just be here, okay? So you can shorten up your range of motion by taking a shorter step behind you, and you can shorten up your range of motion by not sinking as low to the ground in your lunge, okay? Again, as long as you're keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heel, that's the important part. So when you're in this lunge position, you want to be paying attention to this front knee. Do your best to make sure that this front knee is at more or less a 90-degree angle, meaning that your knee is over your heel, okay? So again, you don't want your knee to be out over your toes. You want the weight in your heel always. So bring the knee back so that it's right over your heel, and you have about a 90-degree angle in this front knee. And then again, you're going to press the ground away with that heel to stand. And then with your push-ups, it's the same thing. You can do the exact same exercise and do those walking push-ups with your feet on the mat or your knees on the mat, okay? So to put it all together, this is what the combo would look like without your feet elevated. So you're going to start towards one end of your mat, and again, we're gonna start facing this wall, and we're gonna make like a rainbow or like a semicircle, okay? We're gonna start here, and we're gonna travel like this so that we're facing that wall, okay? At about like a 45-degree angle, so not facing the wall directly, and so not facing this way, not facing this way, but kind of splitting the difference, okay? So it's like a 45-degree angle, and we're traveling from here to here. Make sense? So you're going to start standing towards one side of your mat. And again, in order to remember which leg you're working and make sure you end up working your legs evenly, you're always going to step back with your inside leg. So whatever leg is closest to the center of the mat, where my chair was, that is the foot that's going to step back for your lunge. And then you're going to bend both knees, sink down to your lunge, straighten the legs. 5 reps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, pretend we just did 5 of those. And then, same thing. You're going to place your hands on the ground, step your feet back so that you're in a plank position. Do your push-up, and then walk the hands over one step. Then another push-up, and walk. That's 2. Then another push-up, walk. That's 3. Push-up, walk. 4. until you have completed 5 push-ups, okay? Then once you've completed your 5th push-up, you're going to stand and repeat the same thing on the other side. So now, this foot's on the closest to the center of my mat. I'm going to step back with my inside foot, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 static lunges, then hands go down, foot steps back, push up and step, that's 1. Push up, step, that's 2. Push up, step, that's 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's it. That's the exercise with your foot elevated on the chair, which is what I'm going to be doing, and without your feet elevated, which is what you can do if you don't want to elevate your feet. And if you need to do the push-ups from your knees, obviously you can do the exact same thing, putting your knees down for the push-ups, okay? So you can do your static lunges. You can hold on to something for support for the lunges if you need to. You can shorten up your range of motion on the step back, shorten up your range of motion on the lunge. Those are your beginner modifications. And then when you place your hands down, if you're doing knee push-ups, just have your knees on the mat like this. And then you can do your push-up and walk, just walk across like this. Okay? So 5 lunges, and then 5 push-ups, then stand, and then repeat another 5 lunges. Make sure you're switching legs. Make sure you're always stepping back into your lunge with the leg that's closest to the center of your mat. 5 more lunges, and then 5 more push-ups, traveling in the other direction. All right, that's the exercise. So we've already gone over the proper form for your lunge. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. You're going to keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heel, so you're going to do your best to make sure there's a 90-degree angle in that front knee. And your knee is never tracking over your toes. You always want to keep that knee over your heel. Okay, so that's the proper form for your lunge. Let's go over the proper form for your push-up, and then we'll move on to our ab exercise. So, the main thing with your push-ups, so your bullet points for squats and lunges are flat back, weight in the heels. So I'm going to give you 3 bullet points for push-ups. We'll start at the top and work our way down, okay? So first thing is your head. You want to make sure that your head is in line with your spine. So if you imagine that you're standing with your back up against the wall and just lightly press the back of your head into the wall, that is where your head should be. Perfectly straight up and down in line with your spine. So you want to maintain this head position while you're down in your plank, okay? So when we're down here in our plank position, you want to make sure that you're not allowing your head to drop down towards the mat like this. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. You just want your head in a nice neutral position in line with your spine, okay? Just like you're standing with your back up against the wall and lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall. And you want to make sure that your head stays perfectly still. It's really common that people will allow their head to kind of bob up and down while they're doing their push-ups, but you want to find that perfect alignment where your head is perfectly up and down, straight in line with your spine, and then you want to keep your head still, make sure it doesn't move, all right? So that's your first bullet point. Your second bullet point, shoulders away from the ears. So it's another very common mistake that when people are here in their plank pose, that they will kind of sink down into their shoulders like this. But if your shoulders are hunched up by your ears, that's not what we want. So in order to fix that, the first thing you're going to do is spread out all 10 fingers so that your weight is evenly distributed. You're going to place your hands directly underneath your shoulders, and then from here, you're just going to press the ground away from you. Did you see what happened to my shoulders? So they were hunched up here, but when I press the ground away from me and push myself up as high as I can, now my shoulders are away from my ears, and that's what we want. Okay? So Make sure you're not hunching your shoulders or kind of sinking down into your shoulders. You really want to be as high as you can in that plank. So spread out your fingers and actively press the ground away from you so that you're up as high as you can get in that plank and your shoulders are away from your ears, okay? And then the third bullet point is, again, flat back. Now, when I talk to you about having a flat back for your squats and for your lunges, what we're trying to avoid is a rounded back, all right? So when you're lunging, for example, you want to make sure that you're not rounding your back, okay? Or squatting, you want to make sure you're not rounding your back. So we tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets so that when we sink into that squat or when we do a lunge, our back is nice and flat. With push-ups, we're trying to avoid the opposite, an arched back. So it's another very common mistake that when you're down here on your mat, you're up here in your plank position, but as you fatigue, especially a lot of people will allow their hips or their belly to begin to droop towards the mat like this. But do you see how that's causing an arch in my back? We want a flat back. So the solution here is, again, to tighten up your abs. Super duper tight. Like someone is about to punch you in the stomach. You are bracing for that impact. So really tighten up your abs as much as you can, and then you're going to use your ab muscles to lift your hips high. So you're gonna go from here to here. Lift those hips up high and keep them lifted high. So the point is that you want your body to be in one straight line, all the way from your heels to your shoulders and really to the tip of your head, okay? So don't allow your head to drop down. Head in line with the spine. Don't allow yourself to sink down into your shoulders. Press the ground away so your shoulders are away from the ears. And don't allow your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat, causing an arch in your back. Tighten up your abs. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. Now, you want your body to be in one straight line, but if your hips are slightly elevated like this, that's not terrible, because in this position, my back is still flat. As long as your back is flat, you're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way, and it will actually make the push-ups just a little bit easier. So don't worry about it too much. It's not ideal, it's not what we're going for, so it's something to be aware of, so that you can work towards correcting it. I always think it's a really good idea to record yourself doing a few reps so that you can see what your body looks like while you're doing the push-ups. Because a lot of times people are making one or more of these mistakes without even realizing it. So if you can see which of these mistakes you're committing, if any, now you know how to correct it and you can work towards correcting it. Okay? But if your hips are slightly elevated, don't worry about it too much as long as your back is flat. So just be aware of it. This isn't the worst thing. What you really need to avoid is this, okay? This is just not good for your back. This needs to be corrected. So tighten up your abs, lift your hips high, and then once you have found this beautiful, perfect plank position and your body is in one straight line all the way from your heels to your shoulders, nothing moves. You really need to think of your body as though it is a plank of wood, and you are lowering this plank of wood down to the mat and then pressing it back up. But this plank of wood, which is your body from your heels to your shoulders, can't move. It has to stay perfectly straight, like a board, like a plank of wood, okay? So it's easier said than done because you're bending your elbows and you're lowering your chest as close to the mat as you can, and it is your goal to get your chest all the way down to the mat. But again, we're going to talk goals versus objectives. So you may be able to touch the mat with your chest. You may meet that goal today, and that's great, but you may not. You may not be there yet. So you need to work to your own level. Your objective is to maintain that straight line, either from your heels to your shoulders or from your knees to your shoulders if you're doing knee push-ups. That's what's important. Your objective is to check off all those bullet points. Make sure your head is in line with your spine, your shoulders are away from your ears, your abs are nice and tight, your hips are lifted high, and your back is flat, okay? And your body's in one straight line. So if you cannot reach the mat with your chest, that's fine. Work to your own level. So if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders or from your knees to your shoulders, you have two options. If you're doing the push-ups from your toes, your first option is to put your knees down and start doing knee push-ups. And your second option is just, again, to shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only lower your chest this close to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, that's fine. And this is your push-up. You're going to shorten up your range of motion. And once you're here, as low as you can get, you're going to reverse the movement. Press the ground away from you, push yourself back up. Shortening up your range of motion is fine. What's not fine is trying to compensate for the fact that you can't get your chest all the way down to the mat by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. All right? You also don't want to compensate, and this is really, really a common mistake. I see people make this mistake all the time, and I don't even think they realize they're doing it. But I want you to be aware of it. A lot of people, if they cannot get their chest all the way down to the mat, they want to compensate for that by lowering their forehead down to the mat. Remember, I told you at the beginning, it's really common. You'll see people kind of bobbing their head up and down. I think this mistake is done on a subconscious level. I think people just have this idea in their mind that they're trying to get all the way down. So when you're unable to do that with your chest, the temptation, because you're just trying so hard to reach the mat, is to lower your forehead down like this. But remember that we want our head in line with our spine, and we want it to stay there. We want to keep our head still. So your forehead should never be tapping the mat. All right? If you can't get your chest down, don't compensate by lowering your hips or your belly to the mat. That causes an arch in your back, and that means that you're sacrificing that straight line. That means that you are neglecting your bullet point of having a flat back. All right? And don't compensate by lowering your forehead down to the mat, because then you are not checking off that bullet point of keeping your head in line with your spine. Okay? So if you can't get your chest all the way down to the mat, either put your knees down and start doing knee push-ups or shorten up your range of motion. If you are doing knee push-ups, it's the exact same exercise. Literally the only difference is that your knees are going to be on the mat. So instead of your straight line being from your heels to your shoulders, like this, your straight line is going to be from your knees to your shoulders. But other than that, nothing changes. It's the exact same exercise. And you're checking off all the same bullet points, okay? So your head is in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop down to the mat like this. You're not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck. Head is in line with the spine. Your shoulders are away from your ears. So you've got your fingers spread out. Your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, and you're pressing the ground away from you, pushing yourself up as high as you can. So we are avoiding this, and instead we're here. And your abs are super strong and tight and engaged, like someone's going to punch you in the stomach, and you're bracing for that impact. So you are not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. You're tightening up those abs, and you're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high, getting rid of that arch in your back, and you're going to keep your hips lifted nice and high and keep your back nice and flat. And then once your body is in this perfectly straight line from your heels to your shoulders, nothing moves. You're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest down to the mat as close as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. And then you're going to press the ground away from you. And again, if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, you're going to shorten up your range of motion. Okay? So if you can only get your chest down this far, that's fine. You're not going to compensate by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat and arching your back. And you're not going to compensate by lowering your forehead down to the mat. You're just going to shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only get your chest this close to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, then you're gonna stop here, press the ground away from you, and push yourself back up, and that's your push-up, okay? So if the walking is too difficult, eliminate it. Just keep your hands planted and do 5 push-ups, okay? You can stay right here. You don't have to travel at all. You can start towards the front of your mat, step 1 foot back, do your 5 static lunges, hold on to a chair or some other sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support if you need to, shortening up your range of motion if you need to, okay? 5 reps of static lunges, and then you can just come down onto your mat and do your 5 knee push-ups right here, okay? You don't have to worry about walking your hands. You don't have to worry about traveling back and forth, okay? So do whatever works for you. If it's too difficult, walking your hands back and forth, just do knee push-ups. Remember that if this push-up variation is still too difficult for you, it will make it a bit easier to elevate your hands. So since we already have our strong, sturdy chair right here, I'm going to just place my chair on top of my mat so that it won't slide when I put weight on it. And I can do the same exercise with my hands elevated on the chair. So the higher you elevate your hands, the easier the push-up becomes. So also, if you're doing this push-up variation, you want to be aware that the farther away from the chair that you place your knees, the more difficult the push-up will be. All right? So this, for example, is easier than doing the push-up with your hands on the floor or the ground, but it's more difficult than this. Inching your knees closer to the chair will make the push-up much, much easier. The push-up itself is much easier, but it's that push-up variation with your knees close to the chair is very taxing on your knees because your body is so much more upright. So that means that because of gravity, a lot more of your weight is in your knees. So it's a lot more pressure on your knees. So if you have the upper body strength and the core strength to do your push-ups this way, but the reason you can't do them is because it hurts your knees, that's why I have my little seat cushion. So a couple of things you could try. You could just try folding over your mat a couple of times so that it's thicker and you have a little bit more protection for your knees. Or if you have something like those little like kneeling pads that they sell them at like Dollar Tree. They're super cheap, but they're marketed for like gardening. So like when you're out in the gardening, when you're out gardening and you're on your knees, they have those little like knee protectors for that. It's like a little, I don't know, like a little pad that you kneel on. So if you have something like that, you could repurpose it for your push-ups. That's a great idea. You could also just fold up a towel, like so that it's in a square so it's nice and thick. Or you could grab a throw pillow, or if you have cushions, seat cushions, either on your dining room chairs like I do or on your patio furniture, this will make the push-ups so much more comfortable. So if you have the upper body strength and the core strength to do this, simply giving your knees a little bit more protection is going to make it a lot more comfortable, and that might make it manageable for you to try this push-up variation. If you absolutely cannot get down on your knees because you just have really, really bad knees, or it's just difficult for you to get up and down, that's fine. You can do your push-up from a standing position. So you can elevate your hands, again, on a strong, sturdy, stable chair or bar stool or the arm of your couch or your kitchen counter. Again, the higher your elevated surface, the higher you place your hands, the easier the push-up becomes. So the more, basically the more upright you get your body, the easier the push-up becomes because your lower body, because of gravity, your lower body is supporting more of your weight, and it's less for your upper body to have to push up, okay? So you could try this. You might want to do your push-ups with your hands on the chair like this. Okay, it's the same exercise. Your body's in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders, and you're just bending your elbows and lowering your chest as close to the chair as you can. The higher you elevate your hands, the easier it becomes. So maybe you want to put your hands on the back of your chair. Again, as long as this can be done safely. As long as your chair is strong enough to support your body weight in this position and sturdy, that it won't collapse or break when you put weight on it. And again, make sure it's placed on your mat. But you can absolutely, since my elevated surface is higher and my body is more upright, my legs, my lower body, is supporting more of my body weight. So that means it's less weight for my upper body to have to push up, and it makes the push-up much easier. So again, body is in one straight line from my heels to my shoulders. I'm just bending my elbows, lowering my chest towards the chair, and then pushing myself back up. Okay, so you could do that on the arm of your couch or your kitchen counter. Your kitchen counter is great because it's pretty high and it's super strong and sturdy and stable. Your kitchen counter is not going anywhere, no matter how much weight you put on it. So that is an option if you need a standing push-up variation. And if even that is too difficult, remember you can do your push-ups with your hands on the wall. I'm not going to demonstrate that, but we have gone over that push-up variation a couple of times already. So again, if you've been following the challenge since day one, you may remember seeing me demonstrate and explain wall push-ups in some detail so that you understand how to do them correctly. If you missed those days and you need to see that push-up variation, please just ask. I'm happy to show that to you. But you can absolutely do push-ups with your hands on the wall, and that's as upright as you can get. That's as high as you can elevate your hands. So that is going to be the easiest push-up variation I can offer you, and I really think that everyone can manage wall push-ups. So it doesn't matter if you do the push-ups from your knees or from your toes. It doesn't matter if you travel with me. You can stay put if you want. And remember that elevating your hands will make the push-up easier. So either from your knees or from standing, you can elevate your hands on a strong, sturdy, stable chair or some other elevated surface that can be used safely, that can support your body weight, and that will stay put. So any push-up variation you want to do is fine. So the whole point is that we're doing 5 static lunges, 5 push-ups, okay? That's our little middle section. So you can hold on to a chair for support for your static lunges, shorten up your range of motion on the static lunges, and then beginner variations for the push-ups. Do the push-ups from your knees, elevate your hands, eliminate the traveling back and forth, okay? So just make the decision that's best for you. But I'm going to have my chair on my mat. I'm going to do my Bulgarian split squats. So I'm going to have one foot elevated on the chair, always the inside foot, always the foot that's closest to the chair or closest to the center of your mat. 5 reps of Bulgarian split squats, and then 5 push-ups, and then repeat the same thing coming back. All right? So that's squats, lunges, and push-ups. Final exercise is abs. So there are any number of ab exercises that you can do. I am going to be down on the mat for my abs, but before I get down on the mat, let me just show you real quickly that if you are unable to get down on the mat, how you can get your abs done today. So you've got your strong, sturdy chair here placed on the mat so that it's stable, it cannot slide from underneath you. You're going to hold onto your chair for support. And then take this outside leg. You're going to extend the leg to the side and place just your toes on the ground. You're going to take your free hand, bend the elbow, place your hand behind your neck, and then you're going to lift this leg and bend the knee. And as you do that, you're going to crunch, bringing your elbow down to meet your knee. Your goal is to actually touch your knee with your elbow if you can, and then reverse the movement. Place the foot back down and bring your torso upright. All right, but again, work to your own level. So if you are unable to touch your knee with your elbow, then just get it as close as you can. Okay, shortening up your range of motion is fine, but that's what you're working towards. That's your goal. You just want to feel that crunch in your obliques. All right, so that's a standing option for abs. You could also use your chair this way. You could sit in the chair for your ab exercise today. and you could maybe march. Okay, so I just have my toes very, very lightly on the mat. They're not, my feet are not really supporting any of my weight. I could have them completely off the mat if I wanted to. They're just there for stability, but you don't want to be putting any weight in your knees. You want to have them just lightly touching the mat. And then you can just lift one knee at a time, driving the knee up towards your chest. Okay, that's an option. If you want something a little more challenging, you could scoot your booty forward a little bit, extend your legs out, lift the heels, and then you could crunch the knees in, okay? So crunch and extend, holding onto the sides of your chair for support. Okay, so that's just a couple of options, but if you can't get down on the mat, but you can get in the chair, you can do something like that, something like crunches or marches, okay? That's a great option. If you are able to get all the way down on the mat, you can do sit-ups. We've done these before. I think the last chair workout I did, we did these, right? So you could have your feet elevated on the chair, and you could do like competition sit-up, sit up and tap your toes, okay? Or you could just crunch. All right, so any ab exercise you want to do is fine. And if you want to utilize the chair, since we have the chair here today, and my goal is to utilize it for all 4 exercises. So if you're like me and we have the chair, you want to utilize the chair, there's any number of ways you can do it. But here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to again be using my chair as a target. So for my squats, I was using the back of my chair as a target to kick over. Then for my lunges and push-ups, my chair was there to bear weights. I had my feet elevated on the chair. For my abs, I'm going to be using the seat of my chair as a target. So I'm going to start seated on the mat with my legs straight, more or less straight. You don't have to actively try to straighten your legs and like lock out your knees. You just want them more or less straight, but it's fine if there's a soft bend in your leg. If your hamstrings are tight, you might find that your legs are a little bit bent, but you're not specifically like crunching your knees in towards your chest. Your legs are more or less straight, okay? And then from here, I'm just going to lift up. I'm gonna keep my legs together, lift them up, and bring them up and over my chair, tap the heels down on the other side of the chair, and that's it, okay? And then back, lift up the heels, bring them up and over the chair. So I'm just making a little rainbow with my legs over the chair. And that's it. Super simple exercise, but super tough. It's great for your lower abs, okay? So that's what I'm doing. If it's too difficult to keep the feet together, you could try doing one at a time, like this. That's a little bit easier. Also a great exercise. Just slightly less challenging because you have more stability. You always have one foot on the ground to help support you. So that's another option. But you have some sit-up and crunch options. You have this option with the beginner modification of doing one leg at a time, and you have some seated abs and standing abs. So pick whatever's gonna work for you. But that's it, that's all 4 exercises. Now here's the format. So I'm going to start with squats, and I'm going to do 20 squats, all on the same leg. So I'm doing my air squat plus my leg over. I'm gonna stay on the same leg for 20 reps, okay? Then I'm going to move on to my lunges and push-ups combo. So I'm gonna slide my chair back, and I'm going to do my Bulgarian split squats and walking push-ups combo. And I'm going to travel from here to the other side and back twice, okay? So remember, the way this works is we're doing 5 lunges, and then as we walk with our push-ups to the side, it's 5 push-ups to get to there, from there to here. Then you're gonna repeat with the other leg. So another 5 Bulgarian split squats, and then put the hands down, feet on the chair if you're elevating your feet for the push-ups, and then you're gonna walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 push-ups to get back here. This is where we started. So going from here to the other side and back, we've done a total of 10 lunges and 10 push-ups. So we're gonna repeat that once more, so that by the time we finish this little combo, 4 sets of the combo, we will have completed 20 lunges and 20 push-ups, okay? Then we're gonna move on to our ab exercise. So whatever ab exercise you're doing, you're gonna do 20 reps. Now, if you're doing these standing abs or any other kind of ab exercise where you're only working one side, you can stay on the same side for all 20 reps, okay? And then just remember which side you're working, so that the second time through the circuit, you can make sure you're switching sides and you end up working both sides evenly, all right? So then we're just gonna repeat the whole thing. Starting again at the top, I'm gonna do another 20 squats, and this time I'm going to make sure that I'm kicking the other leg over so that I end up working both sides evenly. So remember which leg you're kicking over the chair the first round, so that the second round, the second time through the circuit, you can make sure that you're kicking the opposite leg up and over your chair, okay? Then we will do another 4 sets of our Bulgarian split squat and walking push-up combo. So 4 sets of that combo is another 20 lunges and 20 push-ups. So by that time, our squats, lunges, and push-ups will be complete, and we'll just finish up with our final 20 reps of abs. So if you're doing standing abs and you worked this side the first time, you're going to switch sides and work this side the second time through, right? Anytime you're doing anything where you're working one side, just to make sure you're switching sides and you end up evenly, okay? So that's it, that's the format. The only thing that's kind of tricky, I guess, is the lunges and push-ups combo, but I think I have explained it sufficiently. Please remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions. But then, of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how all of the exercises fit together, or if the format just isn't going to work for you and you need some help making modifications, if you have questions about the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions, since I'm using equipment today, it's just a dining room chair, but we are technically using equipment today. So if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications, I'm right here to help. So please just ask. It's really important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it is incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I'm always here to help facilitate that, and especially so for this challenge this year. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. And I just want to remind you before we begin to make sure, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to please make sure that you are going at your own pace and minding your form. As important as it is that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, it is equally as important that you are applying that knowledge during the workout and actually doing the exercises with the correct form, so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you get the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So make sure that you are not sacrificing your form for speed. It's one thing to set a time goal and to push yourself to complete the reps as quickly as you can. That's great. And if you are able to get the workout done really fast, and you're way faster than I am, you're way out of me, great. Be faster than I am, as long as you're not sacrificing your form to get there. But if you find that you're just racing through the exercises because you set a really ambitious time goal and you're just trying so hard to make your time goal and you're starting to notice that your form is getting sloppy, or if you're racing to try to keep up with me and you're noticing that your form is getting sloppy, then you need to slow down, okay? It's fine if you fall behind. If you fall behind either because you're just working at a slower pace than I am or because you find that you need to pause and take rest breaks, fine. Pause the video. I'm not going anywhere. All right, when you're ready to continue, I will be right here. We can finish the workout together. The important thing is that you're not sacrificing your form for speed. So make sure that you are going at your own pace and make sure that you are paying attention to your form. Now, if you do need to pause the video and take a rest break, that's fine. Do whatever you need to do. Just challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. You should only resume the workout when you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina that you can continue with good form, okay? So I do want you to challenge yourself and make the rest breaks as short as you can, but also, you know, again, you have to listen to your body. You have to work to your own level and make sure you're going at your own pace. So you have to make that decision for yourself. It's a challenge. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to challenge you, but you should always be prioritizing your proper form. So the rest breaks should be as however long you need so that you are able to regain enough strength and enough stamina to make sure that when you resume the workout and you're continuing with your reps, that you're still doing them with good form, okay? So again, just listen to your body, be smart, be safe, make sure you're going at your own pace. Please mind your form, work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing anything it is not ready to do, and do not sacrifice your form for speed, okay? So I think I have covered everything. This was supposed to be a quick intro and it's like 3 hours long. You guys, I'm me, what can I say? So if I didn't cover everything by now, I don't know. I guess I'm just not covering everything today. So just remember, I'm here to answer questions. So if there's anything I missed, anything that's unclear, just ask. But if you understand what we're doing and you're ready to go ahead and start this workout, go ahead and grab a pair of fitness gloves if you have them. It's going to make your traveling push-ups, if you're going to be walking your hands across the floor, much more comfortable and much safer. It's going to help keep your hands from sliding along the floor, and it's going to provide a little bit of protection for your hands. So if you have fitness gloves, go ahead and grab your fitness gloves. They're going to come in very handy today. You also are going to want to grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or maybe on grass, you may not need anything. But if you're doing knee push-ups, if you're going to be down doing the same ab exercise I'm doing, or any ab exercise where you're down on the floor or the ground, then you're obviously going to be much more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you are doing knee push-ups and you feel that you might want a little bit of added protection for your knees, then you're going to also want to grab a towel, folded up towel so it's nice and thick, or maybe a throw pillow or a seat cushion if you have one. Grab a strong, sturdy chair or some other sort of elevated surface that is strong enough to support your entire body weight, sturdy enough that it will not collapse or fold up or break when you put weight on it, and stable so that it cannot slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. And then pause the video, go get dressed. Meet me right back here. We are going to do a quick 5-minute warm-up and then we'll get our reps done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm-up. You are going to begin by just allowing your head to gently fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure that you're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head and letting gravity do all the work, using just the weight of your arm to gently stretch the other side of your neck. Now switch sides, so let your head fall towards the other shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure both of your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Make sure they're not up by your ears. You want them down away from your ears. Now we're gonna do some head rolls. So you're gonna let go with your hand and begin by letting your chin fall towards your chest and then to the other shoulder and back. Just rolling your head back and forth. And with each roll, start to feel your head getting heavier and heavier. Your arms are really loose like a rag doll, and you're expanding your range of motion with every roll, just letting your body fall down in front of you. Now we're gonna roll the shoulders back. So make really, really big circles with your shoulders. Exaggerate the movement as much as you can. Next, we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our circles. So you're going to begin by extending your arms out to the side and making small circles towards the back. But little by little, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you are exploring your full range of motion. Make those circles as big as you possibly can. Now step your feet out so that they're a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bend the knees and kind of sweep your hands down in front of you. And then as you straighten the knees, you're gonna reach up overhead as high as you can. And each time you bend your knees, just start expanding your range of motion, little by little, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep the feet planted. We're gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching your arm across your body, like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now we're gonna step the feet in and march. So you're gonna start with your knees low, and then little by little, as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher until you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. And now a nice light jog. Again, starting with the knees low, but little by little, as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until you're driving your knees up as high as you can. So now for our booty kicks, still a nice light jog, but with each step, you are bringing your foot up behind you and trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next one, you might need to hold on to the wall or a chair for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips, but you're going to transfer your weight into one leg, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg. Swing to the front, swing behind you, nice and loose. We're gonna switch sides. So put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and swing the leg to the front and to the back. Nice and loose. You can start low and then gradually expand your range of motion. Start kicking the leg higher and higher. Now transfer your weight back into this foot. You're going to step the other leg out in front of you, extend the leg in front of you, and then just start drawing a little semicircle. Bringing that leg around and behind you. And with each semicircle, you're raising the leg a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Switching legs. So extend the opposite leg out in front of you, starting with the leg low. And just make a semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you. Lifting the leg higher and higher each time, and then you can drive the knee up and kind of use your hand to guide your knee around. Finally is our hamstring stretch. So again, if you want to use your chair or the wall like I am or this post, to assist you getting into this stretch, the point is that you want to try to keep your back as flat as you can for this stretch, because that's really going to help isolate your hamstrings. It's going to make the stretch a lot more effective. So by using a chair or the wall, it just makes it easier to get into this stretch without rounding your back. It makes the stretch a little bit more comfortable. So if you don't need the chair or the wall, you don't have to use it. And if you find that you are rounding your back, it's okay. You're not going to hurt yourself doing the stretch that way. But you'll find that if you keep your back as straight as you can, that it's really going to intensify that stretch in your hamstrings. It's really going to help you isolate the hamstrings and it'll make the stretch more effective. All right, but that's it. That's our 5-minute warm up. All right, so now our muscles are nice and warm. Let's go ahead and get these reps done. We're starting with squats. So I'm standing behind my chair. I'm going to do my squat plus a kick over. I'm gonna kick my leg over the chair, staying on the same leg for all 20 reps. So whatever squat variation you're doing is fine, but we are starting with 20 squats. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So squat, and then kick the leg up and over the chair, staying on the same leg for all 20 reps. So squat, same leg goes up and over, that's 2. Squat, 3, 4. So we're going to 20, do your best. I'm gonna try to pick up the pace a little bit, picking up my count at 4. All right, that's 20. So now, for this tough middle section, our lunges and push-ups combo. So, I'm gonna take my inside foot, elevate it on the chair, and now I'm going to do 5 Bulgarian split squats. So bend the knees and straighten the legs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm gonna put my hands down, feet up on the chair, 5 incline walking push-ups. So, push up and walk. Push up and walk. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stand. Now we're gonna repeat in the other direction. So inside foot, elevated on the chair, 5 Bulgarian split squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's our 10th lunge on the day. Now hands down, feet up. Push up and walk. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's our 10th push-up on the day. So now we're gonna do that whole thing once more so that we will have completed a total of 20 lunges and 20 push-ups before moving on to abs, all right? So I'm gonna zip it. 5 lunges, 5 push-ups, 5 more lunges, 5 more push-ups. Let's get it done. exercise is abs to finish out our circuit. So whatever ab exercise you're doing, 20 reps. I am doing double rainbows all the way across the sky, over my chair. All right, so starting with your legs towards one side of the chair. Just gotta lift the legs up and over the chair. Tap your heels down on the opposite side and reverse the movement. You can count that, the double rainbow as 1 rep, or you can count each rainbow as 1 rep. That is up to you. I think I'm gonna double count these today, just because I hate myself and I wanna torture my little weakling abs. So I'm gonna count that as 1 rep, and I'm gonna do 20 more like that. So wish me luck. So I'm gonna count like this. That's like 1.5, 2. I just made this decision on the fly right now. I'm probably gonna regret it. So that would be 3. So each time I tap my heels down on this side, counts as a rep. So that would be 4 and 5. So I'm gonna do 15 more like that. Wish me luck. It's not gonna be fun. That's 10 for me. I'm gonna do 10 more. I'm gonna redo that rep. It wasn't clean. I didn't clear my target. So I think I'm gonna count at 14. So this is 15. So I'm gonna do 5 more. Too bad, but I wouldn't blame you if you didn't double count them. We're 7.5 minutes in. Let's try to pick up the pace in this second round as much as we can. I'm gonna zip my lip because now you've seen all the exercises. I'm not gonna talk you through anything. I'm just gonna repeat the circuit. Make sure you're switching sides for your squats. And if you did an ab exercise where you worked only one side, make sure you're switching sides there as well. But here we go, round 2. So another 20 reps of squats on the opposite leg. That's 20. So my squats are all done for the whole day. Now I'm gonna do another 4 sets of my lunge and push-up combo. squats are done, lunges are done, and push-ups are done. All we have to do is finish up with our final 10, 20 reps of abs. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. And 20. All right, get up. Again today, I forgot to mention before the workout that I'm going to be doing a bonus round. So what that means is that I'm going to do an extra 10 reps of everything. So for my squats, I'm just going to alternate legs with each rep so that I end up even on both sides. You could do 5 on one leg, then 5 on the other. You don't need to do the bonus round. This is completely optional. I know I haven't explained what this is all about yet, and today, again, I'm short on time. So I'm not gonna get into it today, but I promise I will explain the reason behind this. For now, just to know that this bonus round is a tradition that dates back to year 1 of the challenge, which is 2020. So if you want to join me, even if you don't understand why we're doing the bonus round, we're just gonna do an extra 10 reps of everything. So when you're ready, starting with 10 more squats. So I'm gonna squat, kick the leg over, and now squat, kick the opposite leg over. So that's 2. I'm alternating legs with each rep. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So for lunges and abs, that means 2 more sets of my lunges and abs combo. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lunges. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's 5 lunges and 5 push-ups. So now 5 bonus lunges on the other leg. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 bonus lunges. So just 5 more push-ups. 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't forget the walk on that last rep. That's 10. It's a push-up plus a walk. So when you get to that final rep, make sure after you do that final push-up that you're also doing that final walk with your hands, because the rep is not officially over until you've walked your hands. All right, just 10 more reps of abs. Or really, more like 20 if you're double counting these with me. You don't have to double count them. You don't even have to do them at all if you don't want to. But I'm gonna do 10 reps, double counted. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just 2 more. I know these are tough. 9, so it makes a lot of sense that I decided to double them, huh? And 10. All right. So that's our little bonus round. Completely optional. I promise within the next couple of days, so there's only a few days left of the challenge, but I promise that before the end of the challenge, I will get around to explaining the purpose behind these, the bonus rounds that we've been doing for the last several days, and that we're going to continue doing through day 40 of the challenge. But for now, get up. Let's do a quick little cool down together. I don't do much of a structured cool down. I usually just kind of pace around a little bit. You can do a more structured cool down if you want, but as long as you're just moving, keeping the circulation going, that's the point, just to kind of keep the blood flowing, keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to come down a little bit, while you allow your breathing to normalize. So just pacing around and kind of shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs is fine. All right, the important thing is that you want to get up and move around. You don't want to just collapse on your mat and cry. I know it's tempting sometimes, but you gotta get up, move around, do a quick shoulder stretch. So just bring one arm across your body and then use your other arm to pull this straight arm in towards your chest, and make sure that the arm that's straight is completely relaxed. And make sure especially that the shoulder of that arm is completely relaxed. If your muscles are tense, they're not going to be very pliable. So when you try to stretch them, the stretch is not going to really be effective. So you need to make sure that that shoulder is nice and relaxed so that you can get the benefits of the stretch, all right? So now let's do the same thing on the other side. Bring the opposite arm across your body and use your other arm to pull it in towards your chest. So this arm that's bent is the only arm that's working as I'm using it to pull my straight arm in towards my chest. My straight arm is completely relaxed. And most importantly, this shoulder that's being stretched is completely relaxed. Make sure you're breathing. You can keep pacing or just kind of shift your weight back and forth like I'm doing. Just keep moving. Let's shake it out. quick tricep stretch. So you're just bending one elbow, and then you're placing the other hand on the elbow and just gently pulling your elbow towards the opposite shoulder and feeling that stretch in your triceps as you pull. Make sure that your free hand is completely relaxed and pointing straight down towards the ground. So you don't want this hand up here by the shoulder somewhere. Make sure your arm is relaxed and this free hand is pointing straight down towards the ground. Shake it out, swing out the arms a little bit. Then we'll get the tricep on the other side. So bending the opposite elbow. Place your hand on your elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Allowing your free hand to be completely relaxed. It should be pointing straight down at the ground. And remembering to continue to focus on your breathing, taking nice, long, deep, controlled breaths. Shake it out, swing out the arms again. Do a quick quad stretch. So if you want to hold on to your chair or the wall for support, that's fine. Even if you're someone who generally has pretty good balance, after a tough workout when you're fatigued, it can make balancing a little more difficult. So even if you normally have really good balance, you might find that you're wobbling a little during this quad stretch. So it's fine if you want to just grab onto your chair or the wall to support you. If you don't need it, that's fine. But don't get frustrated if you're wobbling and you lose your balance. It's just because you're fatigued. But you're just going to bring one foot up behind you and then reach back and grab onto the top of your foot with both hands. And then gently press, gently but really, really press your heel into your booty cheek. And as you are doing that, make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward so that you intensify that stretch in your quad. So kind of tuck your booty underneath you and try to suck your belly button back to your spine. Okay, if you do that while you're pressing that heel into your booty cheek, you're immediately going to feel that stretch in your quad intensify. So let me show you from this side. We're gonna switch legs. So pick up the other foot, bring the foot behind you, reach back and grab onto the top of your foot with both hands, and then press your heel into your booty cheek. And while you're doing that, tuck your booty underneath you, tilting your pelvis forward and trying to suck your belly button all the way back to your spine. Remember, as you do that, continue pressing your heel into your booty cheek. And as soon as you combine those two, you're going to feel how much you have isolated that quad muscle. The stretch is going to instantly intensify. It's going to make the stretch much more effective. So, a couple more deep breaths. Shake out the legs. Shake out the hands, the arms. If your wrists are bothering you, after all those push-ups, shake them out. Make sure the shoulders are nice and loose. And if you feel that you need a couple more minutes, if you feel that you're still breathing heavily and your heart rate is not back down to your resting rate yet or hasn't slowed down quite enough for you, then you can pause the video and just take a few more minutes for your cool down. You can just pace around for a couple more minutes, do a little bit more light stretching, and when you feel that your breathing has normalized and your heart rate is back down, go ahead and come back. We'll do our bonus burpee together. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just one rep left to go. I will walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. But you do have to do a bonus burpee. Even if you're an ultra day one beginner, that does not excuse you from having to do your bonus burpee. Everyone must do a bonus burpee after every single workout. It is mandatory. The bonus burpee is part of the workout and it is part of this challenge for sure. So there are a million different burpee variations. You can do any burpee variation you want. I always include a push-up with my bonus burpee, but you do not have to do a push-up if you don't want to. Many burpee variations include a push-up, many do not. So you can choose a burpee variation with no push-up, that's fine. I'm going to include a push-up with mine, so if you don't want to do the push-up, just eliminate the push-up. It's that simple, okay? But here's how you do a beginner bonus burpee. You are going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands flat on the mat in front of you. Then you are going to step your feet back one at a time so that you are in a plank position. Now put your knees down for the push-up if you are including a push-up. If not, you can eliminate it. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. That ended up taking me 14 minutes and 27 seconds. At the end of the first round, we were just over 7.5 minutes in. So that means we managed to pick up the pace a lot in that second round. And that's amazing. Of course, timing your workouts can be very helpful. I do it because it's helpful for me. So you might want to try it. It may not be helpful for you. So you don't have to time your workouts. But I like to have a time goal. It helps me to push myself to go faster without sacrificing my form, of course. So my official score for today is 14 minutes and 27 seconds. That means that the next time I do this exact same workout, I will make it my goal to finish faster than I did today without sacrificing my form. But as long as you got your reps done, remember that it doesn't matter how long it took you. What matters is that you got dressed, you got out here, and you got your reps done. And that's what's important. So well done. So now it's really important that you're taking a good 15 or 20 minutes at least to stretch. If you can do it right now, immediately after the workout, that is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get it done, because your muscles are nice and warm from the workout. If you do not have time to stretch now, that's fine. You can do it later on in the day. Just remember that if you wait until later in the day to do your stretching, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to have to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. The same way we warm up our muscles before the workout, you also want to make sure that you're taking a few minutes to warm up your muscles before you begin your stretching routine, because warm muscles are more pliable. So if you jump into the stretching routine with cold muscles, you're increasing the likelihood of overstretching or straining something or pulling a muscle during your stretching routine. We don't want to do that. So it's fine as long as you get your stretching done at some point during the day. It doesn't matter when you do it. It's fine to put it off until later in the day as long as you don't skip your stretching. So if you stretch later on in the day, remember to warm up your muscles again before you jump into your stretching routine. But as long as you're getting your stretching done at some point during the day, that's what matters. Just don't skip your stretching. It's really important that you're stretching every single day. Taking the time to stretch is not only going to help alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing, but it is also going to help to decrease your risk of injury moving forward. And it's going to improve your flexibility and your mobility, which is very important in its own right, especially as we age. And again, everyone I know is aging. I don't know anyone who's getting younger. We're all in the same boat. So if you prioritize your flexibility and your mobility now, just remember that it's never too early to start doing that. And it's really important. Flexibility and mobility are generally, in my opinion, very often overlooked and undervalued. as aspects of your overall fitness level. So I think it's never too soon, you're never too young to begin prioritizing your flexibility and your mobility, and it's really just going to help improve your quality of life, especially when you're older. You're going to be very thankful to your younger self if you are able to maintain a certain amount of flexibility and mobility as you age. So make sure you're taking the time to stretch every day. If you're a beginner and you don't know what to do for a stretching routine, it's really easy to just go on YouTube and search for a beginner stretching routine. There's going to be tons of options. Just pick one that looks good for you. It doesn't matter what you do for your stretching routine, just as long as you're getting your stretching done. I do have a specific stretching routine that I do every day. So if you would like that link, I'm happy to share it. Please just ask. But before I do that stretching routine, I am going to add on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. And that is why I'm holding Rudbecca. If you do not know Rudbecca is my adorable black jump rope with these cute little white skulls on the handles. And if you would like to know where I got Rudbecca, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code Rudbecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. So I'm going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm gonna get some music going and I'm just gonna get it done. 20 minutes of additional cardio, then I'll do my stretching routine. That's like another 20-30 minutes, and then I can go ahead and take my shower and eat some lunch and get on with the rest of my day. The additional cardio is not required. It is not officially part of the challenge. I'm just sharing this with you because every year when I do the challenge, this is how I do it. I add on 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after every single workout. And the reason I do this is because I am trying to use this challenge to get myself back in shape. I need to lose weight. I need to improve my stamina. And I also want to improve my cardiovascular health. I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs. So the additional cardio just goes a long way towards helping to accelerate that process for me. It enables me to start seeing results faster, and I always find that so encouraging. The sooner I can start seeing the results of all my hard work and I start seeing the changes happening in my body, as soon as I start noticing myself getting stronger and I'm noticing my stamina improve and I'm noticing the weight coming off, it's really encouraging. And the more encouraged you feel, the easier it is to stay motivated because you see that what you're doing is working. So it makes motivation easier to come by, and that makes it easier to get out here and get the reps done every day. Plus, as I'm getting stronger and my stamina is improving, it makes it easier to get the workouts done every day. So that also helps me stay motivated because I know that if I can just get my little booty out here and do the reps, the workout is going to be just a little bit easier today than it was yesterday. And I know if I keep with it, that the workouts will keep getting easier and easier for me the stronger I get and the more my stamina improves. So it all just kind of snowballs. And the additional cardio is what really helps to accelerate that process. And then at the end of the challenge every year, I'm always just so much happier with my results. So you don't have to do the additional cardio if you don't want to. It's entirely optional. I just want to be upfront. I want to be 100% transparent with you that I'm doing more than just these 160 reps every day. I am relying solely on these 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups every day for my strength training. But I'm adding cardio after every single workout. So if you are also looking to use this challenge to get yourself in shape, if you're trying to lose weight and improve your stamina and your cardiovascular health and strengthen your heart and lungs, then I strongly recommend that you consider adding on 20 to 30 minutes more if you have time and if you want to, of additional cardio after as many of the workouts as you can. I do it every day, but I know you guys, we're working out 6 days every week. We're working out every Monday through Saturday. So that means that I am doing 6 cardio sessions in a row every single week. And I know that's a lot. You might not physically be able to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just might not have the time for it. So you don't have to do it every day. And again, you don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. But if you can find even just 2 or 3 days a week to sneak in a cardio session after your workout, it could be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. It doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. But I just think if you can find 2 to 3 days a week to start adding in some cardio, you're really going to start seeing results faster. And it can just be really encouraging, and it can help it to make the motivation to keep going with the challenge easier to come by. So it can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. Jump rope is great if you have a jump rope, but you can also just go for a jog or even a brisk walk. If you have a bike, you could go for a bike ride. That's a great option. Or if you have a treadmill or an exercise bike or an elliptical or something like that, or a heavy bag, either as part of your home gym, or if you have a gym membership and you have access to that kind of stuff at the gym. Okay, 20, 30 minutes on the exercise bike or the treadmill, or you can work on the heavy bag. Okay, those are also great options. If you have more time and you want to go for like a hike, if you live close to hiking trails, take advantage of the hiking trails. Or if you live close to the beach, or if you own a pool or have access to the pool, you could go for a swim. Swimming is amazing cardio. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could jog around the track, or you could do up and down the bleachers. Or if you have steps in your home or your apartment complex, up and down the steps at the hiking trail or the beach. If there's a park or a beach or hiking trail close by that has steps, you could do up and down the steps there. Okay, get creative. Use what's available to you. It can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. 20, 30 minutes, more if you want and if you have time. And one last time, you don't have to do any cardio at all if you don't want to. But that's what I'm doing. That's how I do the challenge every single year. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to encourage you to think about adding cardio sessions when and where you can after the workouts. 2 or 3 times a week would be great. More would be even better, okay? So the additional cardio is not required. It is not mandatory. It is not technically officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. But whether or not you are doing cardio today, our 161 reps are officially complete. We did 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups plus 1 bonus burpee. And if you did the bonus round with me, that means you did 50 squats, 50 lunges, 50 reps of abs, and 50 push-ups plus 1 bonus burpee. So you actually did 201 reps today, which is amazing, and that is officially a wrap on day 37. Well done. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to everyone who's doing the challenge with me. This is the most people I've ever had join me for the challenge. You guys have made me so happy, and you are all doing an amazing job. We are on the home stretch. We have only 3 workouts left to go. So hang in there with me. We have got this. If you are not doing the challenge, remember that it is not too late to join. It is never, ever too late to join. It's always better to do something than nothing. So if you want to just do the final 3 or 4 days of the challenge with me, great. Just remember that if you do want to go back to the beginning and start on day 1 of the challenge, that is recommended. So make sure you save the playlist, watch the day 1 video, and then when you're ready to begin the challenge, just make sure that you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday is fine, as long as you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. All you have to do is just follow along with the playlist, and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along, but of course, if you have any questions about the challenge and how it works, why we're doing it, Who is Brutus exactly? Why are we slapping him? With squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. If you have questions about how you can participate in a way that works for you, if you have questions about where to begin, I am right here to help, okay? If you have questions about how to do squats, lunges, abs, or push-ups with the correct form, if you need to see beginner modifications, I am right here. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help with the challenge or anything else. I need to say also thank you to all of my new subscribers. I am so appreciative. I have been getting like more subscribers lately than I normally do, and I don't know why exactly, but I'm very happy about it. So if you are one of those new subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I truly appreciate each and every one of you more than you know. If you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing today, just one final reminder that if you have questions about how to do the exercises with the correct form, any doubts about how to do the exercises correctly, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided in the video, I am right here to help. Every day, all day, every day, okay? So please just ask. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 38. Bye.